So my friends, I am personally guilty of spreading a lot of misinformation about PC gaming in my short time of PC gaming and pretty much letting that whole thing unfold while being on YouTube. You guys have literally watched me go from a console gamer to a PC gamer over the last couple of years. And yes, some of that stuff that I've put out has been misinformation, has been, brought on due to my ignorance of like learning like the hardware, the software side of things, all of that stuff, because me personally, I did most of the stuff on my own. I didn't rely on other people's information, simply for the fact that there is already so much other misinformation out there in the PC space. Now, there were some things that I would look up, some things that I would do, in terms of, finding out some information and stuff. But for the most part, a lot of the information that I've given you isn't necessarily devious or designed to deceive you in any way, shape, or form. It was just based on the knowledge that I had currently at that point when I made that content. And as things have evolved and grown, you guys have seen things change. You guys have seen me gain better understanding over how the whole thing works. It cost me a lot of money to learn that. I literally spent a lot of money and focused a lot of time into testing specific things by myself to get my own results, to see, because every PC is different. You go and you watch like if you go and you watch like the any of the benchmark videos, or benchmarks when it comes to cards or anything like that, you have to understand that everybody on YouTube is biased in one way or another, period. Like there's no way to really get around that. If they are reviewing an AMD card, they're putting in like the NVIDIA stuff, or vice versa. If they're reviewing like an NVIDIA card and they're talking about the AMD side of things, it's just kind of how things work out. And you pretty much choose sides almost immediately when you start becoming a content creator. I can't really think of anybody that, I really can't think of a whole lot of people that really do things from an unbiased point of view. There's a whole reason why they're showing you one brand versus another brand, and usually that is to get you to like brand A over brand B, or they go out of their way to really like talk about the features of one and talk about the features and ignore the features from the other one. You get a lot of that when it comes to AMD versus NVIDIA. A lot of that. People will spend more time showing you and like pointing out like the good features of all the NVIDIA stuff, when they don't really go out of their way to do that type of work for AMD. There's no excitement for AMD. So yeah, over the course of the last couple of years, I too have been guilty of spreading some sort of misinformation when it comes to PC. Most of it due to ignorance, due to the fact that I just didn't have the relevant knowledge because I had not gained it yet throughout my own experience. But as we sit here on the precipice of the PlayStation 5 Pro launching, with a lot of other channels out there trying to help you build a PC for the same amount of money as the PS5 Pro, I need to be honest with you guys. It ain't gonna cut it. The truth. Here's the truth. The thing that nobody else is going to tell you is you're going to spend more money up front for your first build, whether you're buying that as a pre-build, whether you're buying it, for yourself. If you're out there, like if you're one of them, if you're like somebody that's like really experienced in PC building, then you can find like deals, you know what to buy. You can buy stuff used. You can pick things up at a discount, stuff like that. There's ways. Once you get in to PC gaming, you will truly be able to identify and purchase things that you want to make your experience better. But also, you're going to be in a position when you first start to where you're going to maybe spend too much money on stuff that you don't actually need. You do not need anything RGB in your freaking build at all. but it looks cool. It looks cool. Honestly, I don't care. Like, I buy the RGB just because. Just because it looks cool, you know, you can do it, you can buy it, whatever. But there's a lot of things that you can absolutely waste your money on when it comes to PC gaming. You don't need the fanciest case. You don't need any of it. Period. Like, you don't. You can just literally buy everything is like condensed as possible for the cheapest prices you can. But what fun is that? There's no fun in that. You want to essentially, you want to buy something and build it and put your own spin on your machine. And that's the thing, guys. It's more than just gaming when you go PC. It's more. Like, you become the architect of your own console. You become your own Mark Cerny, your own Jason Ronald. You get to become that. You get to build what you want. And then you get to see how that creation of yours is going to deliver the gaming experience that you want to have. I personally like AMD. I like the setup. I think it's freaking cool. A lot of other people like NVIDIA. NVIDIA is not bad. Absolutely. And NVIDIA is freaking out there rocking, bringing new features. You know, but I mean, obviously it comes at a cost, my friends. But you get to be the architect. You get to decide. Do you want a ray tracing beast machine? Or do you want a rasterized power horse that's just going to give you trillions of pixels, high frame rates? You get to decide that. You get to decide what's in your machine. You get to decide if like the 500 gigabyte freaking SSDs, or, you know, you get to decide how much storage you want. You can buy whatever you want and you can put it in there. That's the thing. That's the creation point, and that's the excitement of being a PC gamer, is you're the architect of your dreams. You no longer have to sit and wait for somebody else to give you what they think is good enough for you at a price they deem worthy of your time. You get to decide. And that's the best part of it. Now, if you want something that is truly going to blow your socks off coming from the consoles and literally put an end to your console mindset, you're going to spend about $1,500 to about $2,000. And this is being able to pick, you know, a good part, a good thing, you know, not having to, you know, really, you know, worry about like a last gen part or any of that. Like, I made a video yesterday showing you guys how to get on to like Amazon and just buy the parts you need. Pick the stuff that looks cool to you, man. Because trust and believe, if you don't buy what you want to buy, and you let that price thing, you know, if you let that frugal mindset get in and start to tempt you away from what you truly want, you're going to regret that a lot. PC gaming is a vicious cycle, guys. And yes, it can easily turn into a gosh dang money pit, but at the same time, if you just do a little bit of research, okay, and I mean this, a little bit of research, you're going to want to start off with a screen. Seriously. If you're shooting for 4K, you're going to be spending a lot of money. And if you don't spend a lot of money, you are going to have a compromised experience. Now, like I said, I've bought from the bottom stack, like 7600 XT or XT, up through 4070, 4070 Super, 7800 XT, 7900 XTX, 4080 Super, and 7900 XTX now. Like, I've bought throughout the whole stack, from bottom end cards all the way to top end on the AMD and second to top end on NVIDIA. And I'm telling you guys, even a 7900 XTX and a 4080 Super, they can deliver a 4K experience on a let's just put it this way, on a lot of games. Like anything from last gen, pretty much like 60 to 70 FPS range without any upscaling or anything. But then you start getting into some of the newer games, you start to fall under the 60 FPS line, where you can use FSR or DLSS to get you back up there on your 4080, your 7900 XTX card. You can definitely get there. Not too big of a compromise just yet. Games aren't super heavy unless you start using next gen features like ray tracing, stuff like that. Then it is going to start to compromise the experience but provide a little bit better experience at the same time, you're always free. And we're talking like ultra settings. If you knock that back down to like high or medium, you could definitely push past that. So yes, if you want 4K, your 80 class card, your 7900 XT or XTX is probably where you're going to want to be when it comes to 4K gaming. But if you're willing to meet that halfway and go like 1440p, which is an incredible resolution that nobody really talks about because it never hit that mainstream market for TVs, it's been pretty much like a PC type thing. So 1440p is really right there in the middle. It looks playable on a 4K screen, but it looks incredible on a native 1440p monitor. Like, it looks incredible. I think I personally like that overall 1440p look, and it is so much easier to build a PC around 1440p than it is to build around 4K. And it's super easy to build around 1080p. Like, you can literally build like a $600 PC, $700 PC for 1080p and fully enjoy that experience, like high frame rates and everything. So just depending on your screen, that is where you should honestly start. Right now I'm rocking the 39-inch LG ultra wide monitor, which is OLED, and it's incredible. Like, I love it. I love the ultra wide part to it, and that is like one of the things. This here has made more of an impact in my gaming on PC lately than anything else. The ultra wide monitor has made such an amazing impact because I love to play a lot of open world games and racing games. So the ultra wide has definitely added to the immersion far more than the graphics or the frame rate or anything else has been able to do. This has been an amazing addition to my gaming setup. So you need to look at that. Look at monitors first and find out exactly where you want to be, and then build your PC around that. And once you do that, then that's going to help you be able to get like a really good value, a really good bang for your buck. Like I said, 1440p is probably the part where you should start. 1080p on PC, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh man, 1080p it looks so bad on a 4K screen. You're right, it does. It absolutely looks like trash on a 4K screen. But a native 1080p monitor, 32 or 27 to 32 inches, you put that on there. You get your HDR. You could buy 1080p monitors with HDR. 480 hertz, like you can go like really high in the refresh rate, and those are really easy to hit on a 1080p card. Like, you can literally get like 7800 XT and really push the overall frame rate at 1080p, and it still looks incredible. I'm telling you guys, the higher the settings that you're able to push, like at 1080p is still a very suitable resolution, especially for PC gaming, because you get higher settings, you get higher frame rate, and you get, just so much more control over your build, that once you combine all of that together on 1080p, it looks incredible. Me personally, I like the 1440p. 1080p is a little bit low. I mean, obviously it won't look as sharp as it does on like 1440p or 4K, but it will get the job done and deliver a very good gaming experience for you. Even 1080p on a 1440p monitor still looks okay, like still doable. Definitely better than trying to play that at 4K. So keep that in mind, that when you are looking for your monitor, just know that if you're willing to go 1080p, you can get some really high quality 1080p monitors for pretty decent price. Really high refresh rate, HDR support, all of that stuff. And then if you go into 1440p, like literally the sky's the limit. Like, you're like, whoa, dang, you can get some really nice displays, high response times, just beautiful freaking overall experience at 1440p. 4K is still a little bit tough. You're definitely, like I said, you're going to require a lot more money to buy that. But at the end of the day, if you can afford that and you have that disposable income, then yeah, get whatever you need. So after you've chosen your display, then you're going to start building the base of your PC. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, just get this cheap stuff, just get this. But here's the thing. Invest in your power supply. Your power supply is going to dictate your upgradability across a long time. Like if you go with 1,000 watt PSU, that's going to give you enough legs to upgrade multiple. I would say multiple GPU generations. From what I've seen, guys, going back, we're finally at a point right now where 850 watts is becoming the norm. So 1,000 watts is gonna give you a little bit longer longevity in terms of being able to upgrade your GPU, being able to upgrade your motherboard, your CPU, all of that stuff. So definitely do not cheap out on your PSU. And you're thinking, because this is your first build, okay? I mean, my first build was that freaking pre-built, and yeah, none of that stuff was usable. I had to just completely rebuild the whole freaking thing, and that cost me a lot of money having to rebuild the whole thing, because I had to buy a new case, I had to buy, I had to buy a new power supply, I had to buy, you know what I mean? Like, I had to buy a bunch of extra stuff just to upgrade my PC's GPU. So, but if you go in to this and you spend the extra money when you need at the beginning to get a good PSU, you spend the extra money to get a good current motherboard like AM5 or Intel chipset, you spend the extra money now to get a board that's going to give you 1, 2, 3 possible upgrades for CPU over the generation, potentially even 4 if you go with AMD, and then you get the best CPU that you can get, you know, within reason, like depending on what you're doing. If you are doing stuff like work and everything else on there, probably go higher than an 8-core. If you're just gaming, 8-core is probably fine. You'll probably be just fine with like a 7800X3D, 7900X3D, 7800 or yeah, what, no, 7700X. You just buy these the best 8-core CPU you can get right now. And that there's going to help power you through. Like you're going to be okay, depending on what resolution you're going for. You'll want to, if you're going for like 1080p or 1440p, try to get an X3D chip, because those are definitely going to give you a lot more bang for your buck. If you are going for 4K, you don't need an X3D. You can just pretty much go with any CPU, because they're all going to net you about the same performance, give or take a few percent. So that's something you don't really need to stress out about. But you do need to stress out about power supply, motherboard, memory, and CPU. Those are your foundation of your PC, and those are the things that you want to not have to change frequently, because that is a more invasive process than swapping out a GPU. A GPU is very easy: 2 screws, 2 plugs, 2 to 3 plugs, and then on the board, and obviously you're like your screen and everything else, you just unplug all that, you put the new one in, and it's really, really super easy. When you start doing other things, that's when it gets more invasive. That's when it's a little bit more. That's why you want to focus more on that in the initial build. Maybe even get a GPU that has less power, but make sure your motherboard, your power supply, and your memory and all of that stuff is as good a quality as you can afford. Reasonably afford. If this is something that's going to break the bank, you know, and I'm telling you guys this, I'm telling you this because that console mindset of, you know, needing the best, wanting the best, whatever. Like, if you just go into this prepared and you buy what you need instead of what you think you need, instead of what everybody else tells you to get, if you go into this with a little bit of research and armed with a little bit of freaking knowledge, you're going to be able to build yourself a very stable rig that's going to last you significantly longer. Because here's the thing, guys, your console gaming is always going to be so inconsistent. You're going to get some games 60, 30, 45 frames, whatever, 720p, 4K, what, it's just going to be so inconsistent. Whereas PC, you can start to build out a consistent experience from, you know, frame rates to, you know, visual quality to all of that. You can build that out. I have never had an experience as consistent as I've had now on PC. Like, it's incredible. Like, everything I can map straight to my resolution, and I get the same resolution across the board no matter what. I can get, you know, I can lock my frame rates to the same frame rate across the board. So I can force consistency across all my games, whereas you can never do that on a console. You get whatever they give you. And once you get to a point where you can force consistency, You know, your 1440p at 60 frames a second. You get a GPU out of the gate that gives you that easily and gives you, you know, enough room to spare or whatever. And so then once you start to get to a point where you're going under that, like say you're rocking everything at ultra settings, 1440p at 60 frames a second, you've got that experience on lock. Well, you start to get to like 55 frames, the same settings, you know, then maybe you dial back from ultra to high. You get your frame rate back up. You can consistently extend that longevity of that card just by playing around with a few settings. You knock down one setting and then you just consistently keep going forward. Once you get to a point, especially with new age GPUs, once you get to a point where you can no longer do that, then you can flip on FSR. Then you can flip on DLSS. But you want to get a GPU that's going to meet your expectations at native resolution, because then you can use those features later down the road to push past that and still continue to give you a gaming experience that you've become accustomed to. That is the beauty of PC, my friends. That is what it offers. It offers a longevity if you buy it right. If you go into PC gaming with the right mindset, you can literally build a PC for a couple $1,000s that's going to last you for a very long time, because you are smart. You went in, you got exactly what you needed. My 7900 XTX, the build that I've built right now, could get me through a very long time. I've got the VRAM, I've got the freaking power to push past 3440 by 1440p with ease. If I had to, I could use FSR. You know what I mean? Like, I could lower some settings. Like, I've got a good build. I've got AMD's fluid motion frames that doubles my frame rate. Like, right now is the best time to buy into PC gaming, because you have these extra tools that will extend the life of your GPU now with the push of a button. And frame generation actually is pretty good if you're using a controller. Obviously, you're coming from consoles, you're going to use a controller. Actually, you cannot tell a difference. It's actually really good. I mean, AMD's being able to, you know, use fluid motion frames across the whole all DX11 and DX12 games. That is an incredible feature, my friends, that just a lot of people don't talk about it, because it's not. It's an AMD feature. So there are good AMD features. There are definitely good NVIDIA features. It's just with NVIDIA, guys, you will spend more money. You will get a good experience. But if you want like those next gen features, I kind of feel like you do need to bump that spending up a little bit, and that kind of sucks. It's like each tier of NVIDIA cards does the features, like the feature set, even better. It does. Like the 4080 Super with ray tracing, all of that stuff was a very good experience. Good enough, in fact, that like I was like, wow, I was pretty impressed most of the time. It's just when I should have hung on to that a little more, just to play like Black Myth Wukong and Star Wars. But on Star Wars, the 7900 XTX did very, very well. And you can still do like the Unreal Engine 5 and all that stuff, the ray tracing that way. So not that big of a deal, but definitely something to look forward to. So honestly, guys, at the end of the day, going to PC doesn't have to be as intimidating as a lot of us make it out to be. It is a significantly better experience. Gamer to gamer, man. This is the thing. Like, I'm not trying to simp for any freaking PC or make you feel bad about your console or anything. If you're like me, I just know from my experience, bro, that I wanted that 4K experience from the consoles. I wanted the promises and all the marketing and all the nonsense they feed you with out of the gate with those consoles. I wanted that really bad. And then I started the channel, and I believed that with every fiber of my being, that Microsoft and PlayStation would never lie to me. They would never tell me something that wasn't true, and it would be great. Like, I just believed that they finally found the secret sauce. It was like double the power of the Xbox One X. Heck yeah, this is going to be a 4K beast. You know what I mean, my friends? You know what I mean? Like, there comes a time where you kind of just have to take matters into your own hand, bite the bullet, and buy the better experience. And when I look at PC gaming, my friends, and the experience that I've had over the last couple of years, and I look at people over on Twitter freaking out about this game or freaking out about that game. They come to my comment section and they're like, this game is trash. I know they're playing on console. If they were playing on PC, they would be getting closer to the experience that I'm getting. Maybe they're trying to play it on a really old PC too, you know what I mean? But if they were playing on PC like I am, I think they would be getting a good experience. Like, I loved the way freaking Star Wars Outlaws played on PC. It was incredible. And so the only thing I can think of is like, dang, man, if people are that mad in gaming, it's obviously because there's something wrong and there's something broken. So I do if anything, if you take anything from this video, anything at all, I suggest that you at least start informing yourself on how to become a PC gamer, what it entails and what it actually does. There's a lot of wives' tales to push people away from PC gaming created by console gamers that literally just want to keep you trapped in the console space like they are. There's no reason anymore. You got PlayStation games on PC. You got Xbox games on PC. You could still play your favorite games. Sometimes you might have to wait a little longer to play them on PC, but once they come, the experience is freaking unforgettable. It's definitely worth it. You save a lot of money. You don't need to pay for online gameplay anymore. You have access to thousands upon thousands more games than you will ever be able to get on console. And there's some really cool stuff on there. You get some really cool stuff. And yeah, it's cool. PC is cool. And I definitely think you would be significantly happier than you are right now on console. Waking up Saturday, going to play a game, not feeling it, wanting to play something else because you're just not happy anymore. Console gaming has sucked the life out of a lot of us older gamers, and PC has restored that. And it does a very, very, very good job at like keeping you engaged in gaming. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.